So this is part A of the Khudilar television channel broadcasting on the internet under the banner of Baby Angel Geronimo editions. Part A on Tuesday, the 3rd of October 2023. Baby Angel Geronimo is the world's bestest baby angel Geronimo, the perfect witness, most authentic, most reliable, most truthful witness, witnessing the evilnesses personified by the serial criminalities exhibited in the shapes of KEMI Bad Enough, Suella, Evila, Criminal, Crueler, Fernandes, and assorted other criminals occupying the posts within the United Kingdom state, making decisions that affect and impact on other people's lives and other creatures. Baby Angel Geronimo has been uniquely placed in witnessing the multiplicity of the criminality, corruption, lying, dishonesty, fraud that go on, are perpetrated every single hour, every single day. Innal Baatila Kaana Zahooqa. Indeed, Innal Baatila Kaana Zahooqa. Falsehood is doomed to perish as falsehood has perished. The latest one in the USA has been, of course, the reinforced fact-based assertion made in a court in the USA where Donald Trump has been told that he lied about the size and the value of his assets, and his lying in this particular context allowed him a profit to the tune of $1 billion. It's only a question of time before every single falsehood perpetrated by every single incumbent in positions will be exposed for the lies and falsehood and dishonesty and criminality that they represent. The so-called High Court Judge Griffiths, sitting in the High Court in London on the 29th of July 2021, lied without any shame, without any sense that is lying shamelessly, and his shameless lying would be noticed as shameless lying and thus disqualifying him from that seat immediately. But Griffiths knew that nobody in the court would point this out to him, and they didn't. Because everyone in the court before him, as licensed law trader, was there as licensed law trader first and foremost, not as the teller of the truth, not as the rejecter of the lies that Griffiths was one of the enlisted ones And so Griffiths went on to say that the Secretary of State, by which phrase he meant the evilness called injustice Eustace at Defra, he said, that is Griffiths the liar, that Eustace the liar, the evil one, was entitled to dismiss, reject any evidence, no matter how universally, objectively, verifiably truthful, suggesting that the claims by the DEFRA liars against baby angel Geronimo's biological health were all lies. We shall be updating on the wider context of liars and liars in the USA. She has said this before. What she's saying today in the Times on page. Let's check the page. We are being held hostage over human rights. And that's a lie. Because human rights, the phrase human rights, is the most wrongly misused, abused phrase in the United Kingdom, and it has been for the fact that various international conventions, treaties, declarations, and agreements that uphold human rights are among the international instruments to which the United Kingdom as a state remains signed up to. But looking at the contents of the Fleet Street outlets and their broadcasting counterparts, it would not be apparent that they recognize the existence of these signed status. So, what does the evilness, Melanie Pee-lips, says in the first paragraph? She says leaving the European Convention would be a start. The idea of universal values is the real problem, sir. What the evilness, the criminal, is saying is that wholesale criminal denial of basic universal rights to people, that is what should be happening. So there is no court of law, there is no due process, there is nothing that can be done to put an end to this criminal having this platform given to her by the dirty digger Rupert Murdoch. Now, the dirty digger Rupert Murdoch is also reported as having done a job interview a while back for the evilness personified called KEMI Bad Enough. KEMI Bad Enough has got the main front page on the evilness called Daily Mail, which pretends to be quoting her. Britain is the best country to be black in, says KEMI. Then in the subheading it says, we see people, not labels, says Minister in rousing speech on race, gender, and Brexit. This evilness is, of course, repeating what the evilness Trevor Terrible Pee-lips was used to promote a few months ago. And this is in denial of murders of black persons by other black persons, as happened in the case or in the cases of the absolute majority of murders taking place either in London or elsewhere in the United Kingdom. So it's like the corrupt Black History Month. The corrupt Black History Month has started this month. I mean, October every year is supposedly the Black History Month, almost exclusively organized by local councils in London and other similar places, including probably Birmingham and so on. But the Black History Month is a giveaway to the stupidity that is in denial of the current violence by blacks on blacks. Just as the evilness Daily Mail heading, Britain is the best country to be black in. And she apparently gave a rousing speech. Would she be given that space and described in that way? Has she spoken about racism in this country? She would not be. She most certainly would not be. So the fact that she is the subject of the front page splash in today's daily, the fascist, racist, imperialist Mail, is not a coincidence. It is a rejection of basic universal values that the evilness Melanie Pee-lips is calling for in the Times. So there is no difference between the Daily Mail and the Times. And indeed, there is no difference between the Times, the Daily Mail, the Times new column, comment column, and the Times promotion of the evilness called KEMI Bad Enough on the front page. And the Times even goes one further. It says only the Tory party tells the truth on race. Can you believe it? Which Tory party are they referring to there? Is it Boris Johnson? Is it Dave Sleazeball Cameron? Is it Suella Villa Cruella Fernandes? Is it Pretty Ugly Patel? What Tory party are they talking about here? And what truth are they talking about? And there is no rejection of that, no diagnostic rejection of that in the daily so-called only liberal newspaper in the English language, The Guardian. What is she saying there? Now, what she's saying there is there is the Labour Party which is pushing the narrative of hopelessness on young people. If we take an example of the young people's experience in the context of the news of the last 10 days, fortnight, it would appear that the stabbing murder or the murder by stabbing of the 15-year-old schoolgirl truth. What the party does and what the conservatives do, and what the rest of the political establishment, if you like, does, is that they are all in denial of racism. Is Now, there is nothing in the Times or the Daily Mail about the day-to-day racism, day-to-day of basic universal human rights to black people, either black people of only African origins or black people politically defined as including black people of African as well as Asian backgrounds. Discrimination rules the obstructions that are in the ways minute, every single minute. So when it comes to the internal or internalization of the racism, internalization by the likes of KEMI Bad Enough, that means that all the day-to-day acts of racist discrimination that impacts on lives and destroys lives of affected black people, that these are ignored. For example, today's newspapers are not covering Rosina Alin Khan's treatment as the MP who has been attacked by a racist and the MP whose political aid has been physically violated by the same racist. And there is nothing in the narrative that the Daily Mail is promoting or through KEMI Bad Enough, or the Times is promoting through the evilness Melanie Pee-lips, that says that any of the routinely violated requirements of the treaties signed by the United Kingdom makes any difference. And there is no sign, of course, that any political opposition parties, the political murderer of the Labour Party, Keir Starmer, fronts the main numerical majority in the opposition. And then there is this Lib Dems, whose capacity to carry the number of people actually is very limited because their number of MPs in the House of Commons is very small. Assuming that they had the same parity, that is the equality notion of being treated as a political party, Ed Davey cannot be expected to uphold human rights or the human rights values because Ed Davey is a criminal of proven record. He's a warmonger and a racist criminal liar, denier. And he is not on the record ever having initiated any constitutional move in the United Kingdom that would put an end to the criminally imbalanced access to the public platforms and public facilities. So, for example, when you have somebody like KEMI Bad Enough saying that Britain is the best country in the world to be black in, what the fuck does she mean? If you look at the behavior of the local authorities, local councils, say, towards black personnel over day-to-day needs of the black personnel, and you add up the number of denials, obstructions, and discriminations caused to these black personnel, you can see that the number based on black people's pigmentation, the number of people being discriminated against, denied service, denied equality. Overwhelmingly affects overwhelming number of black people. That cannot be said on the facts to be the same when it comes to white people. In similar settings, so it is not just outrageous, it's a crime that an evilness like KEMI Bad ENOUGH or an evilness like Suella, Evilar, Cruellars, Fernandes, these are among the people that are being described as among the front runners to become the next Conservative Party leader. Ditto, the next Prime Minister, Conservative Prime Minister. And there is this promotion of the lunatic, evilness, liar, Liz, don't trust. And there is this two column item on the Times saying tighter migrant rules on way after naivety of the Johnson years. Now, what on earth do they mean by naivety of the Johnson years? They never said Boris Johnson was naive when he was in post. But that's what they're saying now. The Johnson is naive, has been naive. Well, Johnson is not naive, not only naive, but he is unable to comprehend cognitively the difference between right and wrong, the truth and falsehood, because he personifies falsehood and evil himself. Secondly, tighter migrant rules, what do they mean? The whole idea of the migrants, the word migrant being a crisis, is related to the already too tight rules operated by the United Kingdom. Had there been compliance with the international requirements to allow due and lawful ways for migrants to apply for immigration into the UK, if there were a detailed, deep, and long range compliance with various requirements of the international treaties that the United Kingdom is a signatory to, then most of the needs for people to try to cross the channel in boats would have disappeared, because those people who if you look at the actual proceedings in the so-called conference of the Conservatives being taken place in Manchester right now, there is nothing there. There is no substance. There is an open season for lying right, left, and center. They're lying to one another, they're lying against one another, and they're lying to the country, they're lying to the electors. And the fact that the political murderer of the Labour Party, Keir Starmer, who is apparently the political murderer of the Labour Party, Keir Starmer, is silent on purpose. Because as far as he is concerned, can you believe this? As far as he is concerned, what the Tories are doing is what the Labour Party under his leadership would be doing, and he is effectively doing. So it's the same thing that Starmer approved of Johnson's complicity and criminality in approving of the conspiracy by DEFRA against the baby angel Geronimo. The perfectly healthy baby angel Geronimo, who was demonized by the DEFRA liars. And when the so-called media asked for Starmer's opinion about the rights of the baby angel Geronimo, innocent, he said that he didn't agree with baby angel Geronimo's rights. He agreed with DEFRA. And the DEFRA position in support of and in agreement with the criminality that was being pursued by Christian evilness Middlemas and George Injustice Eustace as the Secretary of State. When Griffith sat on the 29th of July 2021 in the High Court, Griffiths actually openly, effectively boasted that a cabinet minister was entitled to ignore evidence. You cannot make things up like that. That is what happened. So we shall be continuing on all those illustrations of evidence, and we shall be updating the baby angel Geronimo essay, which